Jay, do you remember Dragon Age: The Veilguard?
Sure.
Do you remember all the cringe clips that came out from it? The
I watched.
trailer that got ratioed.
Yeah, I watched Heel vs. Babyface play it. It was pretty funny.
Hey, so you saw the full
Yeah.
experience for Dragon Age: The
Yeah.
Veilguard, and people quickly realized that one, it doesn't look or feel like Dragon Age. That was a problem for Dragon Age fans. All normal people, when they saw it, they saw the clips that came out. They said, "Why the fuck would I want to play this? This looks cringe. This looks stupid. It looks like an RPG that's not really an RPG because in an RPG, if my non-binary freak friend came out and wanted to do this story about non-binary acceptance, you could tell them, hey, go fuck off." Now, of course, you could play along with it if you wanted, or you could tell them to go screw themselves, quite literally in this case. But no, that's not what Dragon Age: The Veilguard was. It was written by people with a story to tell, and unfortunately, that story was their own life story. And it was a massive, complete, and total failure. When EA was forced at its quarterly earnings report to admit that Dragon Age: The Veilguard was a significant failure, their stock price dropped 20% overnight. It was very, very bad for them. Well, now, after all these problems, and just as so many normal people said the entire time, this is going to be a flop. It's going to be a failure. It was a failure. And now BioWare is changing a lot of things. After Dragon Age: The Veilguard comes up short, BioWare undergoes changes. BioWare is becoming a more agile and focused studio that aims to make unforgettable games, beginning with the next Mass Effect. So, essentially, what this means, by the way, is a bunch of people are fired and a bunch of people are moved to other places in EA. Both of these things, layoffs and people moving. Very small team, low budget, and the focus entirely is on Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect game that probably won't be here for years and years and years at this point. This is BioWare being forced to make sweeping changes because of what they've done. And a lot of people specifically associated with Dragon Age: The Veilguard have been laid off and fired. The leader of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Trick Weeks, was supposedly laid off from EA. BioWare, Weeks had previously worked on and wrote the entire Mass Effect trilogy, as well as being a lead writer on some of Dragon Age Inquisition's DLC. So this is someone who's been around for a long, long time. A lot of other people are gone as well. You could see a lot of this stuff here. Lead writer Trick Weeks, lead editor Karen West Weeks, narrative editor Ryan Cormier maybe. Additionally, BioWare producer Jennifer Chevery Colt, Daniel Steed, Lena Anderson, Michelle Flam were also let go, while this writer was moved to a different part of EA. They're imploding and they're firing people. They're changing things. They're trying to go for a very minimalist budget going forward when it comes to the one game that is the only hope for BioWare's survival. And that's the next Mass Effect game. And it's sad for a lot of people because, Jay, you know this better than anyone else as a gaming expert. BioWare of old was fucking phenomenal, right? You had these franchises and these stories that people absolutely loved, but that was 15, 20 years ago in some cases. That's not the case anymore, and it hasn't been for a while. And now, with the failure of, say, Anthem from several years ago, and now something like Dragon Age: The Veilguard, they have nowhere to move forward. All these other things are dead, except potentially Mass Effect 5. And now all of their eggs are in the Mass Effect 5 basket, and they're cutting a lot of fat. They're cutting a lot of these people that have been there in some cases a long time because they desperately need to do this just to survive as a company after the failure of Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Tale as old as time. Go woke, go broke. I mean, that's basically it. Do these people not see what's happening in other companies when they do this kind of stuff, on how it fails, how they get laughed at, how they get mocked, and then how it's people end up losing their jobs. Then they take to TikTok and they cry about it. Yeah, they got to go back in time, go to Mass Effect. But how much you want to bet that they might pull out a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic from old, just to try to bring in some money? We've been hearing those rumors for forever.
That's not them though, right? That's a completely different company that owns the
Didn't
rights.
BioWare do Star Wars?
They did.
Okay.
So BioWare, they did Knights of the Old Republic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Obsidian is the one that did KOTOR 2 because of the time crunch. I might be slightly wrong, but I do think that was the case. But they used a lot of the main stuff that BioWare had done.
Okay.
Maybe it's the other way around. But Yes, they were involved with that. They also, BioWare did Knights of the Old or Star Wars: The Old Republic, the huge
Yes.
MMO. They don't do that anymore because they
Yeah.
transferred that off to a different company.
That's right. That's right.
So the only things that they currently had in development were Dragon Age: The Veilguard and the next Mass Effect game. That's it. That's it in terms of franchises that we care about, right?
Well, if they
Obviously,
mess this game up, then it's lights out, you know, for that company.
yeah.
You know, if they go back to try to inject their politics and all that stuff like that into, man, they do that to Mass Effect. Holy crap, dude. Yeah,
Listen, Mass Effect Andromeda already pissed a lot of people off. So this next one, this is it, man. I don't know if BioWare does. I don't know what the purpose is of them, right? Unless they're making new things, which they're not making new things. The last new thing they tried to make was Anthem. That didn't work out very well for them.
You think? Do you think a company like that would get to the point where they would sell to another company just so that person can own that name? You know what I mean? Like, would somebody want to
somebody else buy them out or whatever? Maybe.
Right, yeah, buy them out. And it's like, well, now I own the BioWare name. But I mean, if they don't do their research and they don't understand that that name is not associated with good stuff anymore, they might not want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if EA. Who knows what EA would want to do with it? That's the question, right? They're owned by EA, so I don't know.
Remember that old slogan, man? EA Sports.
It's in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. EA Sports. Identity politics. It's in the game.
It's in the game. Crappy
yeah.
gameplay. It's in the game.
Yeah, pretty much.